Hello everyone and welcome to week 3 of Christmas Tag Tuesday. Now I don't know if you're like me, but I tend to get excited about certain products. I order them, I organize them, I put all of these products into one of these sleeves that I have that I normally store paper in, but I thought I would put all of these in there. And then they got a bit buried up the back of the box that I've got everything in. I need to sort out my craft room. My Stampin' Up stuff is pretty much all in brown boxes and I've got things set up like a little filing system and I flick through, but I'm finding I'm missing things, so I need to get in and clear out my storage system that I've got and redo it all. And I might do an ugly before little video and hopefully I'll be able to do an after video when I've got everything sorted. And these sort of got missed a little bit, so I'm going to bring in the catalogue just to show you. I got very excited about this sort of product when I joined Stampin' Up because they have ephemera packs. Now this is in the, I think it's the September to December catalogue, and these are in the last chance products section, which you'll find under the specials tab on the website. And what I loved is that there are ephemera packs there, and I thought these will be fabulous to make some tags with. You can see there are some envelopes here. I've got some ideas for those that I'm going to make for cards, and my daughter's going to make some as well. But these 3 collections here I wanted to do some tags with. I'm only going to make one of these on camera today. I'm going to get out my blending brushes. So blending brushes are going to come in. I'm going to get out my Winsor and Newton white ink. Now you can make splashes with white pigment ink. You can do it with the Kuretake watercolor paints. I have a set of those, but I think I'm just going to use this one today. You can also make white splashes with the Dina Wakley gloss sprays, but I think I'm going to use that one today unless I want to bring in something a little bit more sparkly because it's Christmas. And I'm going to bring in something that might surprise you. Now, quite often we get packaging within our Stampin' Up products. And because I'm not going to put these tags onto scrapbook layouts, I'm going to use this packaging to strengthen the tag a little bit. I do cut these out and I use them on my envelope sheets to help me label. I just use sticky tape and put them at the top, and I use them to help me label what's in these envelopes. But I have some pieces that obviously I'm not going to use because I've already got a white willow one. I can cut these down and attach them to some of these tags that I'm going to make today to make them a little bit stronger. And I've got a whole heap of cut off pieces because I cut down here and here, and I usually cut out this label so I can bend it over the plastic envelope. So I'm going to open these up and decide first on what tag shapes I'm going to use. And this tag set, it comes with a whole lot of different tags. I'm not going to use the ones that are pre-printed today. I'm going to put those aside because they're basically done. All I need to do is put a sentiment on there and my tag is good to go. But I want to dress them up a bit. So I'm going to use these white ones that are contained within this pack. And I'm going to do a bit of blending on them. I'm going to leave these ones alone. So there are 2 sheets of each style. These make very fast, quick, easy tags. All you need to basically do is write the to and from. You could add one of the greetings that are on here. So these are the Joyful Sayings ephemera pack. There are lots that you can easily attach to these tags. So you can look online. Stampin' Up have got samples using these tags. I wanted to create something from scratch. I might end up using some of these smaller little sayings. I'm not sure I'm going to use the larger ones on my tags. So I'm going to just put these aside for the moment. But I do know I am going to get out these ephemera packs. I bought 2 of these packs. I love them so much. And I'm going to do some layering up with these icons that are in here. You can see how easily these press out. And I can't wait to use these on some of these tags I'm going to create with you today. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to try it on a really got things going everywhere. Now, these are fine to attach to a gift once you've dressed them up a little bit. But what I want to do is add quite a lot of ink to these and some splatters. So I want to strengthen this a little bit. So I'm going to bring in some of the packaging that I've got and adhere it to this packaging here. And I want to be fairly generous with my tape because I'm going to be doing quite a bit of blending over this. Now, I could use the basic white thick cardstock for this that comes in an A4 sheet. Then I'm just going to get my scissors and trim around the edges of this following this die cut tag piece. So I need to turn my paper rather than turning my scissors. If I go a little bit off, it doesn't really matter. There's going to be quite a lot of ink added to this, and I don't think people are going to really notice that I haven't quite trimmed this exactly the same as what this tag is. It's a little bit rounded on the end. I'm just going to trim away those tiny little bits there. And then I need to punch a hole in here. And this is a rather large hole, so I can just line it up with my hole punch and just put that in. And then I'm going to do a lot of ink blending on this. I'm going to use cherry cobbler and I think some real red. And I'm also going to bring in some early espresso. So I'm going to be doing a lot of ink blending on this. Normally I would bring in my glass mat to do it, but because I'm on camera, I don't want too much reflection here. I'm going to start with the real red first. I'm going to tap off and then come in. Now, it's not going to worry me that I've got a little bit of a pounce mark here or there because I am going to be dressing this up quite a bit. And I know that the gold foil treatment here is going to resist the ink. You can see that's just going to wipe off later. So I'm just bringing in some of this real red just for a little bit of a highlight. I'm just going to rub that off a little bit and come in with cherry cobbler. And whenever I work with red, I always get it everywhere. I'm not sure if you can do this any cleaner than me. I could get out a Post-it note. That's going to help protect my fingers. And I'm spreading this ink everywhere. I've even got some of it on my drawer here. So here we go. That's going to protect the tag here from getting my fingerprints on it. So I'm coming in with a cherry cobbler. I'm deepening this up quite a bit. I'm hoping my desk is not wobbling too much for you while I do this, but you can see how that is layering up beautifully. And I'm going to come in from the bottom as well. So it's just a case of adding as much ink as you want to. I want a little bit of light and shade, so I'm not going to go into the middle where the real red is, but I do want this to be quite deep and quite rich. So you can see how that's coming along. I could go and do the back as well, but what I might do is just make it a little bit rustic on the back and add a little bit more of that ink on here. And then I can just go over that with my brush to give it a red sort of look here. I don't need the back side to be totally perfect, but you can see that's quite sturdy now with the addition of that packaging on the back. So you don't necessarily have to throw that away. I have two uses for that: strengthening tags that are going on gifts, and I also use the packaging for my labeling. So that's looking rather gorgeous. I love the rich tone of that. I'm going to put my reds away because now I want to ink distress the edges as well. So I'm bringing in early espresso, and then I'm just going to bring in my blending tool here and go around the edges of this just to deepen that up even more. I actually haven't turned my other light on, so I'll do that now. Hopefully that will make it a little bit brighter. And if I want to have more of the early espresso on there, I can just flatten out my tool. So that's looking absolutely gorgeous. And now I'm going to punch out some of these die cuts so I can start building a little collage onto my tag here. I've selected some of the ephemera pieces to go on here, and you can see I've prepped some of them already. I've got the stocking and a poinsettia. I've got a little bow, and I'm going to arrange all of these on the tag. And what I'm doing to all of them is inking the edges, even when it's right up close and there's no white edge to this. I want to go around all of the edges so that it matches in with what I've got on my tag here. Now, the reason why I'm doing this, I like the look of this inked edge as opposed to the white that's around this teddy bear one. So all of the tags I'm going to be creating with this style are going to have inked edges. Now, you can see a bit of a smear here. I did rub away the element here with paper towel, and that worked really well with all the inking that was across the gold foil. Then I got a wet wipe because I was cleaning up my mat and I went across, and that took some of the gold foil away from it. So that's going to affect how I arrange these pieces that I've got on here. So now what I'm going to do is come in with a brand new stamp set. This is not available to order yet, but because I'm a demonstrator, I am able to pre-order some of the releases. So in January, I think it's January 6th. It's usually the first Tuesday of the month, so I might have the date wrong. There are 2 new releases. Actually, there's 3 new releases coming out. One of them is a January, February online only, and that's where this Elements of Text stamp set is from. As soon as I saw this, I knew I had to get it because I'm going to use it on so many things. I do a little bit of art journaling. I don't share as much of that on my YouTube channel because scrapbooking layouts are generally what people want to see when I'm doing videos. But on tags, this is going to work really well. On art journaling, it's going to work beautifully, and it's going to work on scrapbook layouts and tags as well as cards. I think this is a must-have, and it's not in a catalogue. There is a new catalogue releasing, a mini catalogue. This isn't on there. It's online only. So it's always good to click on all those tabs that are in the drop-down menus because this to me is absolutely stunning. So you can see this is how large the elements are, and they are a cling stamp. And that doesn't worry me so much because I love that you get all this extra detail. Now, the thing I am going to have to look at is which way my text is because I want to make sure that I have it the right way around. There is a right and wrong way with the text, not so much with the splatters. I'm not even going to use a block for this. I don't mind if it's not inked up perfectly, but I'm just going to come in with this and put some of these onto my tag here. I'm going to cover up this section down here, so I don't think I need to put any down here. I'm just going to add a little bit more down at the bottom, and I'm going to show you how to wipe this away. You can get a soft rag. I'm just going to use a tissue, and that's going to come off no problem at all. Tissue is a little bit softer. If you've got a soft lint-free cloth, that is going to work really well. So that's all I'm going to do to this bit with that text. Oh, I don't know why I'm putting that away because I want to do some of the blotches as well. So this one, I think I'll use this one here. I'm going to put this on a block though. I don't necessarily have to, but I'm just going to bring in a few of these little elements. This part here, I'm going to actually cover up with the stocking and the other elements. And this is just adding another little bit of depth here. And I love how that looks. And I am going to be doing some splatters as well. I'm going to use this on scrapbook layouts. I've got something in mind with the new catalogues that have come out. And I've ordered some products and I'm very excited. It's an extremely good release. So Elements of Text, look out for that in January because I think it's going to be extremely popular. All right, so this is where I'm going to start layering things up. I'm going to do my white splatters last. I am going to clean this all-purpose mat off. This is just from close to my heart when I used to be a maker with them. It's dried as well. And it's a good one just to roll up and take with me when I go to workshops and retreats. I do still have the box from my glass mat, so I do take that with me. So now I'm just going to fit these on. So I think I'm going to put this poinsettia down in this corner. You can't see that I messed up there. I have my stocking coming up here. I'm going to put a little bow on here that just dresses that up. And then I'm going to tuck this little ho into there. So I need to adhere that down, and some of these elements are going to go up onto dimensionals. But I quite like the composition of that. And then I'm going to bring in my splatters. I'm going to do my splatters before I adhere the ho down because I don't want it to go over the top of my little saying. So this one I think I'm just going to put direct onto the tag. And I am going to have this hanging off the edge a little bit, and I will trim away those pieces. So this is going to go up onto dimensionals. Normally when I'm doing a scrapbook layout, I put quite a few on so that it's nice and supported, but I don't think I need to put quite as many on when it comes to doing tags. So that's going to go down like this. I want this gold to show. This one I'm going to have to attach with glue. So I'm just going to get my tweezers out. So I'm thinking I'm going to put that about here. So I'm going to put my glue on this left side. So that is going to go on there. So you can see these are going to come together really quickly once I've done all the prep with my tags. And then it's time to do the fun splattering. So I think the thing that takes the longest with these is the actual blending of the ink. But if you get a production line going, you'll get them done really, really quickly. So I'm just going to move these out of the way and bring in my splatter box. This dries fairly quickly depending on how much you put on there. I'm going to get a fairly large sort of round brush here, and I'm just going to tap off and add a few white little splatters. And that's just bringing everything to life. I love how this is looking. So you can see I dipped my brush in a little bit heavier and I got some lovely large ones. I think this can cope with quite a lot of large white splatters, so I'm really happy with how that looks. So all I need to do is put this aside to dry a little bit before I attach the little sentiment part, and then I'm going to attach my ribbon. And now that I have made one and shown you how to do that, I'm going to get a bit of a production line going for the rest of the tags that I'm going to put together using these ephemera packs. And I can do all my splatters in one go rather than doing them one at a time. And then I'll be able to do my assembly line sort of construction, do my ink blending first. I might even do some in greens and browns rather than just have them all in reds. I can do all that ink blending in one go. I can ink the edges of everything in one go and then start assembling them and finish these off very, very quickly rather than just doing one tag at a time. I can't wait for this to dry so I can put the little sentiment on and go on to the next step. So you can see I've put the little strip down here. I have put dimensionals under the tail end of this and adhered it directly to the stocking here. I am going to trim off this little piece, and then I'm just going to add, before I start my assembly line of all my other tags, I'm going to just trim that away, re-ink up that poinsettia so that it does match up with everything else. I think I just need to put a little bit more ink on my tool just so that it matches in. And then I'm going to bring in Metallic Enamel Effects Basics Gold. I will have a link to everything that I've used below in the description. And some of the product might even be discounted. Now I'm just doing a little test run because I just need to get a bit of a flow happening here. So I just want to put some little dots on there. These are coming up a little bit like meringues, but I can flatten them out a little bit if I tap them from behind, but I think that just adds a nice little touch. I'm just adding a few here and there just to soften those little white bits that I've got as well. And that's my piece done, except for the ribbon. I forgot the ribbon. I've got to put that on. So let me grab the ribbon. I'm not going to put this on now because I don't want to mess up my little gold dots here from the Metallic Enamel Effects. It takes a little while to dry. It doesn't take as long to dry, I don't think, as Liquid Pearls does. So I'm just going to put some ribbon out next to this so you can see what I'm thinking of using. I think the Wild Wheat Rustic Stripe ribbon is going to work really well, but I don't have that much of it left, and I may not get an order in time for Christmas. They did say that the cutoff time was 9th of December to guarantee sort of getting your orders before Christmas. I could also use this gold twisted twine, or I can bring in just some cheap ribbon that I got from the $2 store. It's not quite the same gold, but these are all good options for this colorway with the gold piece at the bottom of this tag. I'm loving how this is looking. Just a quick tag, quick blending, making this a little bit more sturdy with the packaging as I showed, and then bringing in some of these ephemera pieces just to dress this tag up a little bit more and making a cluster of them. Super fun to do and a very quick way to create that you can call your own, and I think the recipients are going to love getting this type of tag. You could actually hang these on a little tree for ornaments, or you could add them to your scrapbook layouts. If you're going to do that, I would suggest putting a different cardstock at the back of this. Maybe use the basic white thick cardstock for this. I may even end up doing that for some of these tags to create a scrapbook layout. I know I did that just recently with the ones I made with the Reindeer Days Memories and More cards, and that video where I show where I've used it on a scrapbook layout should be airing later this week. Thank you all so much for tuning in for another Christmas Tag Tuesday. I hope to see you next time. Happy crafting and bye for now.